Hi everybody, it's Laura with Untitled Typewriters. Thanks for joining me today. Before we get started, will you give me a like, a thumbs up? And also, when you watch this video, please make a comment, just either like, hey, thanks, or great job, or I didn't understand this, or whatever it is. That just helps us. We appreciate engagement. Today we're going to look at a 1954 Smith Corona Silent Super. And I need to also clarify, many of you who watch our typewriters are not our customers. So really would appreciate it if you would visit our website at jotuntitledtypewriters.com and take a look at our vintage typewriter listings, our typewriter pads, ribbons. We have dust covers, and we also have wall art. So we appreciate your business. If you prefer Etsy, we do have an Etsy shop as well, and the links for those are in the description below. Also, all the typewriters that we show are typewriters that are going up for sale on our website. So every Saturday morning, you'll have some listings. So this is part of batch number 12 or weekend number 12 of the year 2021. You're going to find this Silent Super on our website starting the March 20th, I think is the date. Okay, so let's take a look at that. You can see how it is looking. This one's in really good shape. Looks excellent. My husband is the one who does all the repairs. Let's go ahead and take a look at how this works. So you're going to find your paper holder right here, which really comes in handy because when you're typing and that paper keeps flopping over and hitting the back of your table, that can be really annoying. So that paper holder really is handy. Margins, press and drag. Remember, everything on a typewriter is manual versus what we're used to on the computer. So when you get to the end of your line, you're going to hear a bell, and that was very, very faint. There's a bell there, but it's extremely faint, so be aware of that. There you go. It's a little bit better. So the bell tells you that, hey, you're at the end of your line. It's time for you to hit your return handle and go to the next line, because typewriters do not automatically go to the next line. So also, when you get to your margin and you get to the end, it's just going to stop on you. And if you want to keep going for whatever reason, there's an MR button right here. You just press that, and now you can keep typing and you can keep going. So, okay, and then a paper guide right here. So that just helps you load your paper, or if you're using smaller paper, like if you're typing on envelopes, it just helps guide your paper in straight. But if your paper is crooked, there is a way to fix it. Right here on the right side, pull that forward. That is a paper release lever. That releases the tension of the paper that's in here, and you can straighten it out. Okay, also on the left side, you'll see a lever with the numbers 1, 2, and 3. This is your line selector. So when you hit your return handle, it's going to advance 1, 2, or 3 lines, okay? Depending on your preference. All right, I'm going to move this carriage to the left, and to do that, there are 2 metal levers behind the roller handles. You pull that in, go to the left, pop open the top, and we'll take a look at the inside. And here you find your escapement, and then here's your ribbon spools. Now, we put in a new universal ribbon in all of our typewriters, and if you need a new ribbon for your typewriter, please visit jotuntitledtypewriters.com, and we've got a variety of ribbons there, including the custom ribbon option, where maybe you have an odd size ribbon spool. If you just send that to us, we'll roll fresh ribbon on it for you. Okay, and as always, if you have questions, please contact us and we'll reply to you right away if you use the website. Okay, so fresh ribbon, when you do change it out, make sure black is on top, red is on bottom, and then make sure it's threaded. There's 2 guide wires here, and then right in here on this escapement area. And so what you need to do is, I have an up-close photo on our product listing, and even if it's sold, you can still access it. So click on the product listing link, find the photo, and then just bookmark it or save it. All right, so when it's time to change your ribbon, you can kind of use that as a guide. Because if your ribbon is not threaded properly, it's not going to work. Also, when you get to the end of the ribbon, you're going to need to manually reverse it right here. Just go down, up, and then it'll reverse direction, because while you get to the end of the spool, it's not the end of the ink, and you can reverse this many times before you need to replace that ribbon. Right here is, you'll see an H, 65432, and then L. That just determines how hard these type bars are going to strike your paper. So you just set it to whatever your personal preference is. Also, if you're looking for the serial number for your Silent Super, it's going to be right here, stamped on the left side into the metal frame, and then you can visit typewriterdatabase.com to look up the year it was made. All right, let's close this. Take a look at the keyboard. Here's your color selector. Red is on bottom. It's a blue button on the top, but that's really for your black selector. And in the middle is white. That is for stencils. If your selector is on white, your typewriter is not going to work properly. So make sure it's on the blue or the red selector. Tab, if you want to use tabs, here's your tab button here. And then to clear, you press this lever up. And to set, you press this lever down. Okay, so that is how tabs work. All right, let's go ahead and add a piece of paper and do some actual typing. So I use regular printer paper from Walmart. There is specialty typing paper out there if you want to look for it, but regular paper works just fine. Also, cardstock works fine as well. So if you're a crafter, cardstock works great in typewriters. Just remember that the thicker the cardstock, the more likely it is to actually bend the paper. So just keep that in mind. All right, let's go ahead and type. This is, okay, so this does not have a number 1, and you may be like, what? So you use the lowercase l for your number 1. So 19, what did I say? 54. Smith Corona Super Silent. Okay, so this is a small font. This is going to be an Elite. So it's going to be 12 characters per inch. So on this typewriter, you do not need a heavy hand. A heavy hand is gonna make the keys feel sticky. So each typewriter has its own personality in terms of the tension or the how much pressure you put on the keys and how quickly. This one, you don't need a lot of pressure at all. And I'm a pretty heavy-handed typer, and so I have to, okay, that key we need to fix. So I have to be careful with certain typewriters because I can be, like I said, really heavy-handed. Okay. Oh, I forgot to do the... So the period button is sticking, and we'll fix that so it's not sticking. So this is a really good point. There's a typewriter tip video under, if you look under the playlist Typewriter Tips, and it talks about stiff and sticky keys and what to do. It's actually an extremely easy fix. But what happens is these old typewriters, if they were left uncovered or in a dirty place or whatever, dirt, dust, grime, pet hair, you know, you name it, eraser, because you can use erasers to erase things on here. You know, the eraser shavings, all of that gets stuck in between these type bars. And as you start using your vintage typewriter again, it's gonna start pulling all that junk out. And so for a while, you may need to just clean the keys over and over and over with mineral spirits and a Q-tip. And eventually, with the more use and the more cleaning, it's all gonna pull out and be okay, which is another good point. It's really important when you're not using it to keep it covered, either in your case or with a typewriter cover. And if you don't, that's fine. Like I don't, because I like the look of them on my bookshelf. But when you go to use them, it might be a little stiff, and just clean it up a little bit. And that's all you need to do. When we get these, obviously they're very stiff. Some of them are so locked up that we have to put a special solution in them. And so what you just saw here was there's a couple that are still a little stiff. And so we're gonna work on that. By the time it goes out, it's not gonna be an issue. It's gonna be working just fine. But make sure you keep mineral spirits and Q-tips on hand for your vintage typewriter, just for maintenance purposes. Okay, let's keep going. It's that period that's whoops. And if you type too fast, let's try the red. Whoops. Okay, you make a mistake, you just hit backspace and type. Now, remember, backspace doesn't erase, but you just type over and keep going, which is part of typewriting. It's a very imperfect art, and but I think that's why one of the reasons why people love it so much. Okay, I don't know if you could hear it, but the bell just went off. So that tells me, okay, I need to hit the return handle, but I'm gonna keep going just to show you that margin release. Okay, so now it's stopped, margin release, finish my word. All right. So once I get that period unstuck, which like I said it's easy to do, and by the time it ships it'll be just fine. But once I get that unstuck, it's gonna be, and this is an excellent typing machine. Doesn't need a heavy hand, it's just a light touch. A little bit quicker typer if you want, and you know, it's in excellent condition. It really looks fantastic for being 1954. The exterior is in really wonderful condition. So if you want to see up close images, every vintage typewriter that's not refurbished usually has some scratch or nick or chip, and a lot of times they're very minor that you can't even see, but it just adds to the authentic, you know, antique vintage nature of it. So this one is still very beautiful. Please go look at the images. The typing action was very nice. I did like it very much. And we'll just clean the keys one more time to make sure they're not sticky at all. And if you have more questions, let me know, but please visit the product link in the description below. And thanks so much for watching.